Hello, and welcome to the You Are Beautiful podcast. This is our 15th episode. I am Jordan, and this is Mo. And Grandmaster Gaines. And this is our new friend. We don't know his name.
What's up? All right, we have a new friend. It's our dog. It's my dog now. Welcome. That was a good opening. We're outside, enjoying life. Smart. 3:15 p.m. We haven't done a podcast on a Monday yet.
No, or in the afternoon like this. Well, yeah, we have, but this is different. I like it.
Yeah.
There's dogs. There's sunshine.
Nicotine, caffeine. Need a sponsorship by Stumptown. All right, so this episode, this is for entertainment purposes only. I am not a doctor. She is not a doctor. I'm not a certified nutritionist. So I'm just going to tell you our experience with what we're doing and what the results are. So I have about 25 to 30. I think it's pushing at 26, 27 clients right now. Jordan, you've been with me for almost a year now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then most of my clients are definitely over a year. I have a few that's been have been with me for about 4 to 6 months, but most of them are pushing 2 years, 3 years. Tito and Chanel, I've been there for about almost 4 years now. So I'm just gonna go over how we eat, how we structure our diet, and I'm also gonna go over all across the board what we've experienced. So clients are mostly females.
Mm-hmm.
It's a blend of, most people are in their 30s, there are a few in their 20s, and then I have about 6 or 7 who are 40 plus.
Yeah.
Lynn, Liz, Tito, Chanel, Topaz. I mean, that's already 5. And then let's see who's in our 30s. Like, we're you, me, Christine. We're in our
Muscle Maria.
Muscle Maria. We're in our mid-30s. And then we just have a few babies who are like 24, 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So all across the board, this is what we have been eating for entertainment purposes only, I guess. So our diets are mostly red meat. We've been pushing a lot of red meat. So the people that we follow, they are doctors. Dr. Sean Baker is one of them. Who's the other guy? The carnivore MD. What's
I call him the carnivore MD. I don't know.
Paul Saladino. Paul Saladino, his carnivore MD 2.0 or something. His first one got hacked or some shit. But these are the couple of people that we're following. Look up the carnivore diet. So we're basically following these doctors, what they're promoting. So our diet has been the big chunk of our diet. But basically, what I tell them is like the burger patty diet. If when in doubt, just eat a burger patty. So as long as you're getting your red meat in, we're fine. What we avoid big time, number one. Bless you, Jordan.
Thank you. Sorry.
What would be number one, Jordan, that we avoid?
Alcohol.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, well, actually, good. That's not what I was fishing for, but yes, alcohol number one. I'm pushing it really on all my clients. Alcohol is poison. So the first thing, if you want to take away from this, all my clients are eating a bunch of red meat.
Mm-hmm.
It's ranging from 1 pound for females all the way up till 2 pounds. I eat about 2 pounds, if not more, if I try to get it in. How many pounds are you eating, pretty much?
At least a pound.
At least a pound. So the number one thing that we eliminate is alcohol. Obviously, it's poison all across the board. It's just it's gonna destroy everything. Like, basically, like, I never really watched my diet that much, but as soon as I completely cut out alcohol from my diet, literally, and Jordan and all my clients, you've known me for a year now, within 2 weeks I dropped 10 pounds.
Yeah.
And this is
so fast.
This is the leanest I've ever been, and I'm still not watching my diet. The only thing I cut out was alcohol. And I mean, the biggest impact, like, even if you don't change your workout routine, even if you're not working out, you don't change your diet. If you're having, let's say you've changed nothing, you haven't changed your diet, you haven't even started a training program. If you seriously just eliminate alcohol, it'll be a tremendous health benefit. Everybody keeps focusing on like, oh, if you just change your diet, if you eat more vegetables, this and that. Let's not even talk about like there are plenty of people who will agree with me on the carnivore diet. Then people are doing the vegan diet. Then people say like there has to be a balance. Blah 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 blah. It doesn't matter what diet you're following across the board. If you eliminate alcohol, no matter what diet you're on, no matter what training program you're on, whether you're even not on any training program, you will see the most significant change ever,
Yep.
fitness wise.
Yes. I mean, you hear about people all the time, like getting sober and they drop a bunch of weight like right away because think about it. When you're drinking, you're consuming unnecessary calories, sugars. Then you're going to probably eat like a California burrito that night. Then the next day you're going to feel like caca, so you're going to eat more bad stuff. So it's just like it spirals out of control. That's what I've noticed, eliminating alcohol. I just have more discipline because I have a better frame of mind. I don't get those like cravings to go out and eat bad food because I don't have like alcohol telling my brain that I need it.
Not only is alcohol actually messing up your hormones, your metabolism, adding those calories, giving you the hangover, anxiety, and depression that makes you eat more food. Even if you just keep that shitty diet, let's say you keep eating those California burritos and keep eating that crap. If you just eliminate alcohol, just that alone is still going to start dropping body fat on you.
Yes.
So, yeah. So, this number one thing is alcohol. What would be number two?
Vegetables.
Vegetables. So, when you say vegetables, like I want to point out vegetable oils. Just specifically vegetable oils. So, even before you cut down, and I used to blame sugar a lot, and that used to be number one. But after alcohol, even if you keep the sugar in you, the first thing I try to stay away from is vegetable oils, canola oil, seed oils. Like that's the problem with going out and eating. It's not like the sugar, it's not the macros that you should be really worried about. It's actually the vegetable oils that are literally in everything. And the one thing that I'm very aware of is that your body synthesizes sugar. Your body will burn it off. But vegetable oils, they actually form a layer outside your cell membrane. A shitty layer of fat, like in your skin and all that shit, causes cancer, blah, blah. And again, I started with this by saying that I'm not a nutritionist. This is entertainment purposes only. So if you want real information on this shit, go check out the carnivore diet. Look up what Paul Saladino, the carnivore MD, has to say about it. That'll be a good source.
Yeah, I love. He just went into Chipotle and asked them like straight up, like, what kind of oil do you use in your food? Because everybody thinks like, oh, Chipotle is kind of like a healthier, like quick option, right? You could get your protein and get out, but it's what they're cooking it in that is toxic.
Like inflammation, being bloated and all that stuff. Just right now, my client, Maria, for the last 4 or 5 years, she's had digestive issues. And I'm not going to talk about the headache, but she's had digestive issues for as long as she's been bloated every week. Like she actually started missing workouts because she was so bloated and she had so many stomach issues. Then the only thing she did. Now again, look, I'm just telling you observations. I'm not giving you advice on how to eat and all that stuff. I'm just telling you what we've been doing and what has been happening. And this person literally just eliminated vegetables. Has had digestive problems. I mean, since you've known her, she's been complaining about digestive issues, being bloated. I don't know what bloated is anymore because I used to be bloated when I used to eat spinach and kale and chard and all that shit. And she literally is just eating eggs and red meat.
Yep.
And her body fat drop.
Bloating is gone.
Bloating is gone. And let's talk about some of the issues that people have faced. Cynthia had high cholesterol levels. That went away, and she's just eating meat and fruit. and a little bit of rice. She eats some vegetables here and there, but she's not that.
It's more for like spicing something up, you know.
Exactly. But when you look at Liz, who was on psoriasis medicine for 9 years, she's off her medicine. Her psoriasis significantly improved. She was on Vicodin because her knees were really bad. So her knees have been hurting for about 6 years now, and her pain is at a zero. She's
Whoa.
squatting. She was on Vicodin day one. Her knee pain is gone. So arthritis, psoriasis, all that stuff like the autoimmune disorders. She's been with me for 1.5 going into 2 years in December. Again, her psoriasis went down. What's his name? Pete. He was pre-diabetic. Now he's not diabetic, and he's eating copious amounts of red meat. All he's cutting down is sugar and vegetable oils and vegetables. So,
yeah, I mean, for me, I was always under the impression that I had to just like put my vegetables as my first priority, get as much of those in as you can, and then like whatever else you can fit in your gut, like do it. I knew protein was important, but I was eating a lot of chicken breast, you know, super lean ground turkey, fish. Red meat was always something that I was like, oh, I probably shouldn't eat a lot of that. I didn't know why. It's just what had been told to me. And I used to have a lot of stomach issues.
okay, so right now, so far, I mean, you've been building muscle consistently, dropping fat consistently. I mean, you feel stronger
Yes.
than you've ever been. I mean, you actually look younger too. Like your face, your skin, everything has improved. So what are the major food groups that you've been eating consistently? Like
Red
what?
meat,
Red meat,
eggs.
eggs.
I would say dairy because I do eat yogurt. I eat cheese. I eat some fruit. And I do have some carbs sometimes, which is like rice or some like sourdough bread, you know.
And how are you portioning your food? Do you have any portion? Do you weigh? Like, actually, are any of my clients that you know of weighing and measuring their food? I actually, you have I mean, you followed the meal plan I gave you, but like, usually I send meal plans. I don't even charge for meal plans because I know none of these guys are going to actually follow it. I'll send them the meal plan. They see those 4 meals, weighing and measuring and all that shit. And then I'm like, do you want to do that, or do you want to just do what I asked you to do? And what I asked them to do is basically eat until you're full, and when you're done eating, just don't eat. And then whenever you're hungry again, just eat until you're full.
Yeah.
The only time you need, like, so can you say that if you're, so here, I want to make an absolute statement that I've seen across the board. If you're eating the right quality foods, the right ingredients, you don't need portion control. I might be one of the few people who are saying this now, that you do not have to be in a calorie deficit. You do not have to count your calories. Like, people are like, well, what if I do eat too much? If you're eating the right amount, right types of food, you cannot eat too much.
Yeah.
Like, you don't like.
You're going to get full before you eat too much.
Exactly. And let's say you somehow eat too much, you just won't be hungry for a long time.
Yeah.
Like, look, put as much red meat and let's say eggs and fruit in front of your body. Eat until your body will literally tell you to not to eat. Let's say you eat until you're 4, and then you eat some more, and then you're an asshole and you just stuff your face with as much food as you want, as long as it's red meat, fruit, eggs, butter, salt. That's it. All that's gonna happen is now you're gonna skip the next meal because you're gonna be satiated. Now let's say you go and gorge a bunch of ramen or sushi, this and that, and you overeat. That will have a trickle down effect. You will gain body fat, and you're probably gonna be hungry on your next meal still.
Dude, yesterday I didn't have, actually it was Saturday, I didn't have any red meat all day and I was starving. And then yesterday I didn't have any red meat until later on in the day. And again, I just felt like I could just keep consuming things. Like I wasn't getting satiated. So I was trying to eat like too many carbs and too much other stuff. So I really think it's important to, like how I said, I was putting my vegetables as my first priority. Switch that around. Put your red meat as your first priority, because if you fill yourself up with that first, you're not going to have the need or the desire to go shovel carbs, a bag of chips or whatever in your mouth after dinner because you're still kind of hungry. Like, you need to fill up on your protein.
You know why that's happening?
Why?
It's because your body, the hunger signal that you get, your body is craving nutrients, not calories. So that's what people think. So you can give your body 1,000 calories, but if you're they're not nutrient dense, then your body's going to be hungry later.
Right. So you find like a bag of chips that's like, this is only 100 calories, but it's a substantial amount you think is going to like get you through the rest of your day or till your next meal, and it does nothing.
No, but what I'm saying is, let's say you eat 1,000 calories of chips. Let's say you eat 1,000 calories of chips and snacks and all that stuff. You will still be hungry an hour or so later because it's not nutrient dense.
Right.
Now, if you can eat a piece of steak, a lean steak, and it could only have like 200 calories, but because you have those nutrients in you, you're going to be satiated and you're not going to be hungry later.
Yeah.
It's because like when you're eating the wrong stuff, you can load up on a bunch of calories that your body's not going to really assimilate, and it's going to turn into fat. But when you're adding meat, but you can literally, as a female, 120-pound female, if you can somehow put down 12 eggs, that's still not going to be a problem. Your cholesterol levels won't go up. Your diabetes won't go up. I mean, and again, entertainment purposes only. I'm just telling you what I've seen across the board. I eat 2.5 pounds of red meat a day. She eats like a pound of red meat, eggs, all that stuff. And all my clients, like this Maria, who was having digestive problems, dude, she was having like 4 eggs and like a 6-ounce steak in the morning, just fine. And
sounds good.
And you can use this. Everybody's body is different, but dude, I have different people with different bodies. I have 30-year-old females, 35-year-old females, Mexican females, white females. Don't have any black one. I have had African American females as well. Caucasian. I just thought about that joke I made about Caucasian, but anyways, this Middle Eastern guy. Topaz, dude, every single person all across the board, all different ages, are eating red meat, lots of butter, lots of salt, a little bit of fruit and rice here and there, and every single problem that you have, high cholesterol, diabetes, depression, anxiety, joint problems, everything's going away across the board.
Yeah, my eczema is...
You had eczema?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
It's pretty bad eczema. I haven't had any issues with that since I really started like focusing on more red meat intake. It's really calmed down. Like every now and then flares up a little bit, but nothing like it used to. Nothing.
Really? Where did you have it?
All over my legs. And then I started getting it in here, in my like elbow area, my armpits, on my hands, my wrists, my fingers.
Did you have it when you started?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. You don't remember when I had like big, like, I don't know.
No, I was too busy fixing your fucking shoulder press. Your shoulder presses were horrible. Tricep push-downs you got. Incline dumbbell press, your wrist kept tweaking. Squats you couldn't do. So I was too busy doing that than focusing on your eczema. I'm glad it went away.
Yeah. And then also just like, I would have just tummy problems, feel like... gassy, just feeling like I have to rush to the bathroom all of a sudden, like things like that were annoying and uncomfortable. Have had none of that. None. And, I was like the girl that's like, oh, well, I better get like that huge tub of like spinach that's like $5 at Vaughn's or whatever, and I better consume this whole thing this week, and I'd just be throwing handfuls of spinach in like every meal I could. You know, that's how I used to eat.
Dude, me too. Like, I would just go and because you got to get your greens in.
Yeah.
Right? I'm like, you got to. So my go-to, they're like leafy greens, bright greens. That's what they say. The bright leafy greens or the colors and all that stuff.
Yeah.
They tell you that lettuce and all that stuff doesn't have a lot of nutrients.
Right.
So I would focus on kale,
Uh-huh.
broccoli, spinach, bell peppers. I'm like, all right, I gotta get all my greens in, and then the red meat was just there to like build some muscle, and we can't eat too much of it because it's bad for you. So you stay away from that. You add some chickens, egg whites, and all that stuff. And dude, I remember being bloated, pins and needles and shit like that years ago.
Yeah.
So yeah, dude. Like, and then let's talk about some portion,
Okay.
like how we actually portion it. So, you've been eating like this over the last what, 2 or 3 months now. And all right. So she's my girlfriend now. So like this is gonna make things fucking easier. So we basically eat over the last 2 months. We've been eating all our meals together. So this is how we and you've lost body fat, right?
Yes.
And so here's the thing. She's been like fucking. So she gets in this head. Well, now it's like a little different because she's not just my client. So she was stressing out about now. Now I'm actually like living with my fucking client now. So about my portion and this and that. Am I eating too much and this? But I would literally tell her that look, everything's taken care of. Just ride this wave and I'll take care of everything. So these are the rules I follow. I try not to eat carbs in the morning, right? What's that fucking Charles Poliquin? This guy passed away a couple of years ago, and according to most people in the fitness industry, people who are in powerlifting and athletes who are and coaches who are actually up there who've been in the industry for about 30 years, who are training world-class athletes who will go to the Olympics and stuff like that, not just chump personal trainers who are just taking some clients, probably people at my level. All of them in the industry agree that Charles Poliquin is the most successful strength and conditioning coach in the world. And he always has this rule that you should not eat carbs for breakfast. He says, and I quote, that the first thing that should go into your mouth, granted it's food, should be meat and nuts. And he was very popular for the meat and nut breakfast. So basically what it is just protein and fat. It's because it doesn't matter if you're intermittent fasting. It doesn't matter if your first meal is breakfast, noon, lunch, whatever. The first thing that goes in your body has to be protein and fat. That's because if you eat carbs in the morning, your body is going to spit out insulin, which is an energy store hormone. Insulin tells your body to store the energy as fat. So if you don't eat carbs in the morning, right, your body is not going to be triggered to spit out insulin. Now, on your second meal, even if you eat carbs, your body is not going to spit out that much insulin. So if you're going to eat carbs, save it for your next meal or your last meal.
Okay.
So usually, let's say our day off on a Saturday or Sunday, I basically go home and I make a bunch of fucking meat. It'll have sausage, eggs, maybe some bacon. Usually it's just red meat and eggs. And I'll make a big chunk. And I'll just split it up into 2 plates. I only eat twice a day. So I usually wake up in the morning, I work out, 4 to 5 hours, and I eat my first meal, and then you're probably eating the same thing with me. So I'll make a bunch of fucking food, and it'll probably have about 100 grams of protein. And I'll split it up into 2 meals. I'll finish my food or leave some, and then you'll eat until you can't eat anymore, right? And then I'll put the rest of her food on my plate, and I'll finish it up. Or maybe she'll finish it. Sometimes she's like, oh, this is too much food, and then I won't be able to eat it, and you just end up finishing it, right?
Yeah, that happens a lot.
Like, there's literally no portion control. And then at night, sometimes I'm eating carbs, sometimes I'm not eating carbs. If I am eating carbs, she's happy because she gets to eat carbs, and I'll just make lots of red meat and carb. and I'll do the same thing. Now at night, most of the time she'll won't finish all that food. But if she's really hungry and hasn't eaten all day, she'll finish the food. Now a few days later, she's gonna start complaining. Oh, I'm getting a little soft and this and that, and maybe I'll get a little softer. I can't see all my abs. So for the next two or 3 days, I'll say, all right, let's go on the burger patty diet.
Yeah.
And what we literally will do for the next 3 days, I'll just eliminate carbs and we eat nothing but burger patties because it's easier.
And eggs.
Burger patties, eggs, we just literally eliminate carbs. And within 3 days, our body shreds up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if they can learn something from this, if you're going for the fastest fat loss ever, right? Just eliminate carbs and alcohol and just eat red meat, fat, butter, salt. Like, until the fat's gone.
Yeah.
And then throw in some carbs. Now, you can do sprints like, all right, spent 4 or 5 days with 0 carbs. Okay, throw in a piece of fruit or two or a cup of rice or two here and there. Now, if your body, so for breakfast, just don't eat carbs, right? Just don't eat carbs for breakfast. Easy. Now, as you're going on, if you can handle a little bit of carbs in the evening and you're still dropping body fat and building muscle, then you're cool. Now, if you want to speed up the fat loss a little bit more, cut out the carbs a little bit more. Now, if you're really lean and you want to keep adding size like me, then you can like get away with carbs all the fucking time.
I was like joking to you one time. I think that, you know, once you get to a state like where you're in, you basically get to eat like a fat kid. So it's like all of this discipline and hard work to get you in shape, but then you really do have to consume like more food to keep your muscle growth happening. And like, what better reward is that for an ex-fatty than like, guess what? You get to eat more and more the more shredded you get.
Yeah, exactly. Like every few months, you have a higher and faster metabolism.
Yeah, yeah.
And I guess like you would be the best person to tell these guys. I mean, you've been hanging out with me over the last 2-3 months. You've pretty much seen every single meal I eat. So you can check my Instagram. I'm fucking shred nasty right now. And just give them an idea of how much effort I actually put in a week's worth of eating. Like, how do I measure my shit? How do I pick something?
Dude, it's like we buy the red meat, we buy the dairy, and then we buy a little bit of carbs that we can use to throw in here and there with it. Like when we get bored or whatever. It's very, very simple.
Yeah. Pretty much.
The only thing, too, I would say that we do focus on, though, is like when we are eating meat that has a higher fat content, we really don't like to eat a lot of carbs with that.
Yeah, just don't load up on carbs and fat at the same time.
Yeah.
Don't give your body 2 sources of energy at the same time. Usually in the morning, obviously the fat content. So protein is basically a building block, right? So you see this fucking building over here? The wood, the concrete, the metal, that's the protein. Now, the workers who are actually going to put this shit together, those are the carbs and fat, right? Carbs work faster, fats work slower, all right? So you can look at fat as like a Pakistani like me who's like slow and steady, doesn't work that fast and lazy. And carbs are like Mexicans. They work really, really, really fast, right? So
I guess.
so that's all it is. So the first thing you need to build a building, your eyes, your hair, everything's made out of protein. It's amino acids, right? So you throw in the red meat. Now you need a source of energy. I always prefer fat as a source of energy. So if you're having the ribeye, if you're having the egg yolks and all that stuff, don't don't eat carbs. Now, if you're gonna eat carbs, let's say so the best bet would be use a leaner cut of meat like a top sirloin. Don't add too much olive oil or butter. Cut back. If you're eating eggs, eat more egg whites and egg yolks, right? And you can have some chicken breasts and lean fish and stuff like that if you're throwing in carbs. But that's all you have to do, pretty much. If you're eating a nice, greasy, fatty meal, don't add carbs to it. If you want to have carbs, cut down on the fat a little bit.
What do you think about fruit? Is that better to stay away from those type of carbs in the morning versus later on in the day?
So I'm going to go off of Paul Saladino, again, the carnivore MD. He's so. Here's the thing about fruit, right? If you're eating carbohydrates, I believe that the best source of carbs would be something natural, which is fruit. I used to be against fruit over rice because it has more sugar, but your body synthesizes it different, and I've been experimenting with it as well. And Paul Saladino promotes it as well. So again, like I would still try to avoid carbs in the morning if your goal is to maximize fat loss, right? Me personally, I can eat carbs whenever because I'm very lean-ish, and if I get a little bit of a trickle down effect. When I say trickle down effect, that means I'm eating a little bit too much, and I start getting a little softer. And when I say soft, I can still see my abs when I'm a little puffy. But for the most part, when you're lean enough, you can throw in fruits in the morning, at night. But if you're a little chunky and you're trying to speed up the fat loss aggressively, then I would keep the fruit for lunch and dinner, or just once a day. It just depends of how fast you want your fat loss.
I see.
But when you're picking carbs, I would say that fruit is better on your body than grains. Grains have lectins, glutens, all that stuff. I just throw in carbohydrate rice because I'm from Pakistan, and Pakistanis can synthesize carbs really, really well. So it doesn't affect me that much. But some people, if mostly from the Scandinavian countries, or if you're one of the people who have excessive amount of body fat, then you're probably highly sensitive to carbs. So the first thing, if you're carrying a significant level of body fat, I would just recommend eliminating carbs for a little bit so your insulin sensitivity goes up, and then you can play around with throwing in some carbs here and there. But I think like the least toxic part of the plant is fruit. That's the only part of the plant that the plant wants you to eat. Everything else I would stay away from. So to really long story short, to answer your question, if you have to pick the best source of carbs, I would eat fruit. If you're a chunky butt and you're looking for the maximum amount of fruit, I would say eat one piece of fruit on the days that you work out, and that's good enough for your carbohydrates. But if you completely eliminate carbs, as long as you're eating protein, fat, Dr. Sean Baker literally just eats steak and butter and eggs, and he said you get all your nutrients from it.
Yep. So there you have it with the carnivore diet.
So yeah, and then
Pretty simple.
pretty simple. So again, dude, fill your body up with red meat, fat, and butter. If you don't really want to count your calories, and you don't want to worry about, you can literally just completely eliminate all carbs, salt, butter, fat, and you're gonna lean out. All my before and afters on my page, they're all on the carnivore diet, maybe a little bit of carbs here and there. But number one thing, cut out alcohol. Number two, cut out vegetables and vegetable oils. Number three, cut out sugar. And then just load your shit up on red meat. And I mean, we haven't really been eating that much grass-fed stuff either. I believe that the shittiest quality red meat is better than the best quality vegetable.
Hey, that's a good view.
So I think we covered everything. I mean, we're not taking any supplements.
Yeah. Also, this doesn't have to be expensive. Like, we shop at Grocery Outlet or,
Yeah.
Target or Walmart. Like, to get this stuff, it's affordable, especially if you're doing burger patty diet. Like, you don't have to. I was spending a lot more money getting these, like, fancy schmancy, perfectly macro balanced, like, dinners and lunches delivered to me, and I was not seeing as much progress doing that.
Yeah.
And those also included vegetables.
And then, dude, you had this meal prep thing too, right?
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah. And wow, dude, I was actually sponsored. I don't want to say who, but I was actually like teamed up with a meal prep company, and I was getting like these meals for like $3 a pop, and I would get some kickbacks too if I would like make some sales. But these things were fucking me up, dude. Like my pins and needles in my stomach. I was bloated. I was puffy. I had acne all over my face, and I'm like, dude, I'm eating all this organic food. organic vegetables, and why is this happening? And I just cut it down to red meat and rice, and everything went away.
Well, didn't you discover too that there was a lot of vegetable oil being used in that?
Yup. But well, at that point, I didn't know what was causing it.
Right.
I just know the meals were just
Making you feel
I'm like,
gross.
yeah, and I just cut down to red meat and rice, and I'm like, why am I feeling better? I'm not eating any of these vegetables. And slowly, when I go back to it, now I realize it was the vegetables that was causing
Yeah.
problems to begin with.
Yep.
And I guess now that we've thrown it out there to like couples who are like fucking starting this like fitness journey together, I see a lot of them like they're like, all right, we're gonna start meal prepping together and this and that, in all honesty is just a headache, dude.
Yeah.
Because the guy eats more, the girl eats less, and this and that, dude. It's easier than you think. Just buy a bunch of red meat and eggs, make a bunch of food, and the chick eats
See
as
how
much
much
as you
you
want.
can eat.
Dude,
Yeah.
dude, a lot of times you're literally eating as much as me.
Yeah, I do.
Dude, this girl can put down some food. Like literally, like I made her this big old meal with like cups of rice, wild boar sausage, red meat, and she's literally scarfing this shit down like a man. And at 36 years old, my roommate was asking if you were like how old you were in your 20s. It's because like seriously, I've noticed it. Eating that red meat, it just keeps you younger. You get that carnivore skin.
Yeah. I have a lot less pimples. Well, we already know my eczema's gone. Like, just everything seems a lot clearer.
Dude, out of all the your eczema is gone. You're feeling better. Your energy levels are up. You're stronger, dude. Like when we take into account how good our progress is, and I'm looking jack fucking city, like we put the least amount of effort in our diet. Like we are literally putting in zero effort. We just went to grocery shopping. We got like 2 packs of ground beef, 93% grass fed, because it was $5.
It was literally $4.99.
We got some eggs and some corned beef, and we're just gonna cook a bunch of it, eat until we're full, and then that's that. Like I have no idea how many calories I'm eating a day. You have no idea because I'm the one cooking it. Butter, salt, nothing. Red meat, salt, butter, skip your vegetables,
Yeah.
and
Just
all your problems
save your
will go
money
away.
and your time and your bowels.
Yeah, I think that we did pretty good.
Yeah.
First podcast outside.
Yeah. I enjoyed it.
All
It's
right,
a beautiful day in San Diego.
good job. All right.
All right.
And
Well, rate, review, subscribe, comment, all of the things. You can follow me at Cosmo Jordan.
and follow me at Grandmaster_Gains. I hope this helped. I think it
Yeah.
was good.
Yeah. Let us know if you have questions about this because it's easy for us and we're passionate about it. So,
All right, gang, boom, boom.
bye.